Good morning. Have you ever poured yourself a soothing cup of tea and felt a sudden flutter or ache in your stomach? You're not alone. Many seniors wake up craving that first sip, only to pay for it with discomfort. Imagine starting your day, feeling calm, energized, and free of any twinge or burn. What if I told you the very teas you trust could be the reason you're not feeling your best? In the next 35 minutes, I'm revealing 6 specific teas you must avoid on an empty stomach, plus simple, delightful swaps that let you keep sipping without pain. We'll dive into the science, share real-life stories from seniors just like you, and give you quick, practical tips. I know how much you care about your health. You deserve to enjoy every cup with confidence. No more worry about heartburn, dizziness, or upset tummies. I've helped dozens of friends and family avoid hidden tea traps. And today, it's your turn. So stick around, because coming up next, how to spot the first tea on our list, and what easy change you can make right now to protect your stomach. Let's get started. Before we dive into that first tea, I'd love to know, where are you watching from right now? Is it a cozy kitchen, your sunlit patio, or maybe your favorite armchair? Type your city or town in the comments. I read every single one, and it's amazing to see our community grow across the country and beyond. If you want to keep discovering simple health tips like these, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're the first to know when a new video drops. Coming up, we'll uncover the very first tea on our list, why it can upset an empty stomach, and a quick swap you can start using today. So go ahead, drop your location, subscribe now, and get ready to protect your health one sip at a time. Let's jump into Scene 3. Physiology Introduction. Okay, let's talk about green tea. It's beloved for its gentle flavor and antioxidant boost, but here's the catch. Green tea is rich in tannins and caffeine. Those tannins stimulate acid production in your stomach. When you drink it on an empty stomach, there's nothing to buffer that acid. It sloshes against your delicate lining and can cause irritation. Deep science and symptoms. Imagine your stomach like a soft balloon. Normally, food cushions the inside. But without that cushion, tannins act like sandpaper, slowly wearing at the surface. You might notice a sharp pang, a burning feeling, or even nausea. And that caffeine jolt can make you dizzy or jittery if you're sensitive. Carol's story, Part 1, 45s. Let me share Carol's experience. Carol is 72, retired, and an avid green tea drinker. Every morning, she'd steep her tea extra strong, straight after waking. At first, she ignored the tiny twinges, but by day 3, the discomfort turned into a dull ache right below her ribs. It grew each day until her mornings were filled with unease instead of calm. Worried, Carol finally went to see her doctor. He explained that her tea habit, sipping on an empty stomach, was inflaming her stomach lining. She was shocked. "Tea is supposed to be good for me," she said. But armed with this new knowledge, Carol was ready to adjust her routine. Now pause for a moment. Think about your own morning. Do you pour green tea first thing? How long do you wait before eating? Could shifting your tea time stop that nagging ache? Hold on to that thought, because next I'll show you a simple swap that made all the difference for Carol. Here's the fix. Make your green tea into a post-breakfast latte. First, have a small bite, like whole grain toast or oatmeal. Then brew your tea at 107 feet. High bind to TB5 for just 2 minutes to reduce tannins. Stir in a splash of milk or almond milk. The food and milk work together to cushion your stomach, calm irritation, and you still get that green tea goodness. That wraps up green tea. Next up is black tea. We'll uncover why it's higher caffeine. It can be even tougher on an empty stomach, and I'll share another quick swap. See you in Scene 4. Now let's talk about black tea. A classic morning staple with a bold flavor and higher caffeine content than green tea. That extra caffeine can be tough on an empty stomach. When black tea hits your digestive tract without any food, it triggers a rapid surge of stomach acid and speeds up gut contractions. This combination can lead to that jittery, queasy feeling and even mild stomach cramps before you've had a chance to eat. Picture drinking a strong cup of black tea. First thing, the high caffeine flood acts like turning on your gut's turbo mode, pushing acid production into overdrive. Without food, that acid has nothing to cling to but the bare lining. You might feel a fluttering heartbeat, slight nausea, or a sharp pinch below your ribs. Seniors may be more sensitive, as age can slow down digestion and thin the stomach lining, making the effects of acid and caffeine even more pronounced. Here's James's story. At 68, he loved the robust kick of 2 cups of black tea every morning before breakfast. He thought the burst of energy helped him start his day. But by the 5th day, that ritual backfired. He began experiencing heart palpitations, lightheaded, spells, and a constant gnawing pain in his upper belly. He chalked it up to stress until his discomfort grew so persistent he couldn't ignore it. Concerned, James saw his doctor, who explained that the empty stomach caffeine spike was overstimulating his system. The acid irritation and rapid gut movement were causing his symptoms. James was surprised. He'd always thought black tea was harmless. But the doctor's advice was clear. Never drink strong black tea on a completely empty stomach. That realization led James to rethink his morning routine and look for a gentler approach. Pause and reflect. Have you ever felt a sudden rush or discomfort after sipping black tea before eating? Do you notice your heart racing or stomach churning if you don't pair it with food? Keep those observations in mind because next, I'll share James's simple swap that eased every symptom. James's solution was a light black tea blend enjoyed with a snack. He now starts with a slice of whole grain bread, topped with avocado or cheese, then brews his tea half strength, steeping for 1 minute instead of 3. This gentler infusion reduces caffeine and tannins, while the snack cushions his stomach. He still gets his morning ritual and energy lift without the unpleasant side effects. That wraps up black tea. Coming up in Scene 5, we'll explore lemon tea's acidity and the quick fix to neutralize it. Next on our list is lemon tea. That bright, tangy cup many of us adore first thing. But here's the twist. Lemon's high citric acid level can spell trouble when your stomach is empty. On a bare stomach, that acid has nothing to neutralize it. Instead of gently waking you up, it slams directly into the stomach lining, triggering heartburn, indigestion, or even nausea. Let's explore exactly how that happens. Citric acid is a double-edged sword. In fruit, it gives a refreshing zing and supports digestion when balanced with food. But before breakfast, it acts like a splash of battery acid on bare skin, strong enough to irritate. As that acid pools in your stomach, you may feel a burning ache low in your chest, a sour taste rising in your throat, and sometimes bloating or cramps. Over time, repeated exposure can weaken the mucosal lining, making future meals uncomfortable or even painful. Take Linda's experience. Linda is 75, and she started each morning with a steaming mug of lemon tea, believing it would detox her system. Day 1 and 2 were fine, but by day 3, she noticed a persistent burning behind her breastbone. By day 5, Simple tasks like bending over to tie her shoes made her wince. She assumed it was acid reflux from her medication, until she realized the only new habit in her routine was that lemon tea on an empty stomach. Concerned, Linda mentioned it to her pharmacist, who pointed to her lemon tea habit. He explained that without a buffering meal, citric acid irritates the esophageal sphincter and stomach lining alike. Linda was surprised. She'd always heard citrus in the morning was healthy. But learning that timing mattered changed everything. She asked herself, if a single cup could cause such discomfort, what small shift could let her still enjoy that lemony flavor without the burn? Now, think about your own routine. Have you ever woken with a sour taste or burning feeling after lemon tea? Do you notice that pang just when you lean forward or stretch? Could waiting to drink or adding something to your tea make a world of difference? Keep those thoughts in mind, because next I'll share Linda's simple, delicious swap that eliminated her heartburn while keeping that bright flavor she loves. Here's Linda's easy fix. Shift your lemon tea to mid-morning or post-breakfast and add a teaspoon of honey. First, have a light breakfast, like a small bowl of oatmeal or yogurt with fruit. That meal buffers your stomach. Then brew your lemon tea as usual and stir in a teaspoon of raw honey. The honey raises the pH slightly, calming the acid, while the breakfast provides a protective layer. Linda found that this new routine preserved her morning ritual, satisfied her craving for citrus, and completely banished the burning sensation. That wraps up lemon tea. Next up, in Scene 6, we'll uncover why peppermint tea, often touted as soothing, can backfire on an empty stomach, and the simple swap that keeps it safe. See you there. Now, let's turn to peppermint tea, often hailed as a calming, stomach-soothing brew. But here's the surprising catch. On an empty stomach, peppermint's muscle-relaxing properties can actually backfire. Peppermint contains compounds, like menthol and volatile oils, that relax smooth muscle tissue throughout your digestive tract. When your stomach is empty, this relaxation extends to the lower esophageal sphincter, the little muscle valve that keeps stomach acid where it belongs. With that door loosened, acid can flow back up into your esophagus, causing heartburn, acid reflux, and that dreaded burning sensation. Think of your lower esophageal sphincter as a bouncer at a club door, keeping unruly stomach acid from crashing into your esophagus. Peppermint essentially tells that bouncer, take a break. Without any food to occupy your stomach, the acid has free rein, sloshing upward and irritating the sensitive lining of your throat. You might notice a sour taste at the back of your mouth, a burning ache behind your breastbone, or even a dry cough as acid irritates your vocal cords. Over time, repeated exposure can inflame your esophagus, leading to chronic reflux and discomfort that goes beyond just an occasional flare-up. Here's Marie's story. At 70, she loved starting her day with a cup of peppermint tea, believing it would ease any morning bloating. For years, she drank it first thing, on an empty stomach, and felt nothing amiss. Then, one morning after a particularly brisk walk, she sipped her tea and immediately felt that familiar heartburn sensation. But this time, it didn't fade. Instead, she struggled with burning behind her ribs that lasted all day. Marie thought it was her arthritis medication causing the discomfort until she noticed the link between her peppermint ritual and the pain. Concerned, Marie mentioned the issue to her gastroenterologist. He explained that while peppermint can, relax stomach cramps after a meal, drinking it on an empty stomach weakens the esophageal barrier that keeps acid down. Marie was surprised. She'd always trusted peppermint to soothe her tummy, not worse it. But once she understood the mechanism, She realized that timing was everything. If something as benign as her beloved tea could trigger chronic symptoms, a small habit change might restore her comfort. Take a moment to think about your own routine. Have you ever felt that burning rush or sour taste after peppermint tea? You notice it more when you skip breakfast or wait too long to eat? Jot down your experience, because up next, I'll share Marie's simple yet powerful swap that let her keep enjoying peppermint without the reflux. Marie's solution was delightfully simple. She shifted her peppermint tea to post-meal and added a splash of warm water with a pinch of baking soda. First, she eats a light breakfast, such as a soft cheese omelette or a bowl of porridge, which creates a protective barrier. 20 minutes later, she brews her peppermint tea as usual. Then, stirs in a few drops of warm water mixed with half a teaspoon of baking soda. The breakfast buffers stomach acid, while the baking soda neutralizes residual acid and raises the pH of her tea. This combo keeps her esophagus shielded, yet still delivers that crisp peppermint freshness. That wraps up our peppermint tea segment. In Scene 7, we'll dive into hibiscus tea, a pretty, tangy brew that's a powerful diuretic, and how to enjoy it safely without dizziness or low blood pressure. See you there. Next up is hibiscus tea, that vibrant crimson brew prized for its tart, floral notes, and antioxidant power. But here's the catch. Hibiscus is also a natural diuretic. When you drink it on an empty stomach, it pulls fluid from your system more aggressively, which can leave you feeling lightheaded, dizzy, or even cause a sudden drop in blood pressure. Seniors, in particular, may be extra sensitive since we naturally lose some fluid-regulating efficiency as we age. Let's unpack why hibiscus tea's diuretic action can be a hidden risk first thing in the morning. Hibiscus contains organic acids, like citric and malic acid, and plant compounds such as anthocyanins, which support cardiovascular health and antioxidant defense. But it also triggers the kidneys to excrete more water and sodium, acting much like a mild fluid flusher. On an empty stomach, with no food or water to balance that effect, you can experience dehydration more quickly. You might notice lightheadedness when standing, dry mouth, or a sudden dip in blood pressure. Over time, if you habitually drink diuretics before eating or hydrating, you risk electrolyte imbalance, which can exacerbate weakness, fatigue, and dizziness. Take George's story. George is 74, a retired teacher who swore by his morning cup of iced hibiscus tea. Brewed strong and served chilled, he claimed it helped his circulation and reminded him of summer days. On day 1, he felt fine. On day 2, he stood up too quickly and got a shock of dizziness. By day 4, he noticed he was more thirsty than usual, and his heart raced when he walked to the mailbox. His daughter found him pale and uneasy one morning. George assumed it was his new blood pressure medication, until he realized he'd changed nothing else but his tea habit. Worried, George talked with his pharmacist, who pointed out that hibiscus tea can lower blood pressure and increase urine output. Great when you've just eaten, but risky on an empty stomach. George was surprised. He had no idea his refreshing drink could have such a powerful diuretic effect. Once he grasped the mechanism, he recognized the importance of timing and hydration. He asked himself if something as gentle as tea could leave him dizzy, what simple routine tweak would keep him safe and still let him enjoy that vibrant color and flavor? Pause for a moment. Have you ever felt woozy or unusually thirsty after sipping hibiscus tea first thing? Do you notice your blood pressure feels lower, or you need the bathroom more often? Hold on to those observations, because next I'll share George's easy method to keep hibiscus tea in your routine without risking dehydration or dizziness. Here's George's simple solution. Hydrate first, then sip. He begins every morning with a glass of room-temperature water, about 8 ounces, often with a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon to restore electrolytes. He waits 15 minutes to let his body absorb that fluid, then enjoys a diluted hibiscus blend alongside a light breakfast, like scrambled eggs or a slice of avocado toast. To make the blend, he brews hibiscus tea at half strength, using 1 teaspoon of dried petals per cup instead of 2, then pours it over ice. The food and water buffer the diuretic effect, keeping his blood pressure stable and preventing dizziness, while he still relishes the tea's tart, refreshing taste. That wraps up hibiscus tea. In our next scene, we'll explore ginger tea, another stomach warrior. We'll see how its spicy warmth can irritate your lining on an empty stomach, and I'll give you a soothing swap to enjoy every sip comfortably. See you in Scene 8. Let's wrap up our tea list with ginger tea, that warming, spicy cup many of us reach for first thing. Ginger's active compounds, gingerol, shogaol, and various essential oils, are celebrated for soothing nausea and supporting digestion when consumed with food. But on an empty stomach, these same compounds can irritate the sensitive lining, acting like a gentle but persistent pepper spray on bare skin. The fiery heat that helps settle your stomach later in the day can, in the morning, trigger cramps, a burning sensation, or even mild inflammation. In this scene, we'll explore exactly how ginger's potency becomes a double-edged sword and how a simple change can protect your stomach. Ginger works by stimulating blood flow and activating receptors that signal warmth and digestion. When you eat food first, it encourages smooth muscle contractions, eases bloating, and combats nausea. But without that food barrier, those same contractions can tug directly on your bare mucosa, causing gastrointestinal spasms or burning cramps. You might feel a sharp twist in your midsection, a lingering ache, or even slight nausea as the oils churn aggressively against an empty stomach. Over time, regular exposure can sensitize your lining, making future meals feel uncomfortable. Seniors especially can feel these effects more intensely, since age naturally thins the mucosal layer and slows mucus production, leaving the stomach lining less protected. Consider Helen's experience. Helen is 69, an active grandmother who swears by ginger tea to ease motion sickness and occasional indigestion. For years, she brewed a strong cup, 2 tablespoons of freshly grated ginger steeped in hot water, and drank it immediately after waking. At first, she relished the spicy warmth, but soon she noticed a pattern. Within 15 minutes of her first morning sip, she'd feel a sharp cramp, followed by a burning ache that lingered well into her day. She tried cutting back on the amount of ginger, halving it, but the pain persisted. Helen assumed it was her arthritis medication upsetting her stomach, until she tracked her symptoms and realized the culprit was her beloved ginger tea habit on an empty stomach. Worried, Helen consulted her primary care physician, who explained, "The ginger's stimulating action, perfect after a meal, was too intense on a bare stomach." He likened it to rubbing a spicy ointment on raw skin. The heat can soothe inflammation only if applied over a protective barrier. Helen was surprised. She'd always thought ginger was universally soothing, but once she grasped that timing mattered more than quantity, she understood the solution lay not in quitting her favorite tea, but in shifting when and how she drank it. She asked herself, if something as mild as ginger could sometimes trigger discomfort, what simple tweak would let her enjoy its benefits without the side effects? Now, pause and reflect on your own routine. Do you ever feel that fiery twist or lingering burn after a cup of ginger tea on an empty stomach? Have you noticed cramps or mild nausea when you skip breakfast or delay your meal. Jot down those experiences, because, up next, I'll share Helen's easy, effective swap that preserves ginger's warming comfort while keeping your stomach calm. Here's Helen's simple, two-step solution. Morning ginger infusion instead of straight tea, and always pair it with a small snack. First, she starts with a light bite, such as a handful of nuts, a slice of banana, or a spoonful of yogurt to coat her stomach lining. Next, she makes an infusion. Instead of steeping 2 tablespoons of ginger, she uses 1 teaspoon, adding it to hot water and letting it sit for 8 minutes before drinking. This longer, cooler brew extracts the gentler flavors without overwhelming concentration. The combination of the snack and milder infusion cushions her stomach, so she still benefits from ginger's anti-inflammatory and digestive properties without cramps or burning. That concludes our deep dive into ginger tea. You've now seen how timing, dilution, and simple pairings transform each brew into a safe, enjoyable ritual. In our final scene, we'll recap all 6 teas, highlight key takeaways, and share a final call to action to keep you sipping safely every day. Let's move on to scene 9. Welcome back. You've now seen how 6 popular teas, green, black, lemon, peppermint, hibiscus, and ginger, can all cause discomfort on an empty stomach. And you've learned simple swaps to keep your mornings smooth. Before we move to our final recap, I want to share a gold standard tip from a leading nutrition expert, plus debunk a common myth that could save you weeks of trial and error. Dr. Anita Shah, a registered dietitian with over 20 years of experience working with older adults, says this: "The most important rule for any beverage, especially those containing acids, caffeine, or diuretics, is to pair them with at least a small amount of protein or healthy fat. This practice not only buffers stomach acid, but also slows absorption of stimulants and regulates blood sugar. Even a tablespoon of nut butter or a hard-boiled egg before your tea can make all the difference." Why protein and fat? They act like a protective shield, coating the stomach lining and giving your digestive system time to adjust. Protein stimulates the release of gastrin, which balances acid secretion, while fats slow gastric emptying, smoothing out caffeine and acid spikes. Now, let's tackle a widespread belief. Drinking lemon water first thing detoxifies your body and flushes out toxins. You've probably seen countless wellness blogs and influencers promoting lemon water as a miracle morning cleanse. Here's the truth. Your liver and kidneys are the real detox heroes. You don't need acidic drinks to cleanse them. On the contrary, drinking concentrated citric acid, like lemon juice, without food can irritate your stomach lining and esophagus, leading to more harm than good. Real detoxification happens through balanced hydration, plain water, electrolytes, and nutrient-rich foods that support liver enzymes and kidney function. A cup of lemon water after a small meal can be refreshing and provide vitamin C, but pre-breakfast lemon shots or large glasses of straight lemon juice can exacerbate acid-related issues. So, if you love lemon's flavor, enjoy it, just not on a truly empty stomach. Building on Dr. Shah's advice, here's a quick strategy you can start right now. Always have a mini protein bite first. Keep simple options by your kettle. A handful of almonds, a slice of cheese, or a hard-boiled egg. Add healthy fats. Stir a teaspoon of chia seeds into your oatmeal, or spread avocado on toast. Steer clear of pure stimulants. If you're reaching for a caffeine kick, mix your tea with a splash of milk or almond milk right after that mini-meal. These small steps buffer acid, slow caffeine absorption, and reduce diuretic effects, all without sacrificing flavor or routine. That expert-backed approach and myth-busting insight give you a blueprint for every tea habit you've learned today. In our final scene, we'll quickly recap each tea, spotlight the key takeaways, and wrap up with a powerful call to action, so you can implement these tips immediately. Stick around. Your healthiest tea routine is just one scene away. Welcome to our FAQ Corner. Your questions from the comments answered. First up, Q. Can I add honey to my teas to reduce acidity? A. Absolutely. A teaspoon of honey not only sweetens your cup, but also raises its pH slightly, helping to neutralize acid. For lemon or green tea, stir in the honey after you've had a small bite, like toast or yogurt, to give your stomach lining that extra buffer. What about decaf options? AA. Decaf can be a great choice for black or green tea drinkers who are caffeine sensitive. Remember, decaf still contains trace amounts of caffeine and tannins, so it's best enjoyed after a light snack rather than on an empty stomach. You'll still get the flavor without the big stimulant surge. Q. Are herbal blends safer? A. Many herbal teas, like chamomile or rooibos, are gentler on the stomach. However, always check for diuretic ingredients like hibiscus or stimulants like ginger. If in doubt, pair them with a small protein or healthy fat snack. Q. How long should I wait after eating before my tea? A. Aim for at least 15 to 20 minutes. This gives your food time to form a protective layer and begin digestion. If you're extra sensitive, wait up to 30 minutes. To Q. Can I drink tea during meals? A. Yes. Drinking tea with or slightly after your meal is ideal. The food buffers the acids and tannins, and you'll still enjoy the taste and benefits. Thanks for those great questions. If you have more, leave them below, and I'll cover them in the next video. Up next, our final scene. A quick recap of all 6 teas and a powerful call to action so you can start sipping safely every day. All right, you've made it to our final scene. Let's do a quick but thorough recap of the 6 teas to avoid on an empty stomach, and the easy, effective swaps that let you keep enjoying every flavor without discomfort. Green tea. Remember Carol's story? Those tannins and caffeine can irritate your stomach lining. The solution is a post-breakfast green tea latte. Have a slice of whole grain toast or oatmeal first, then brew your tea at a lower temperature, and stir in milk or a dairy-free alternative. This buffers the acid and keeps your digestive system happy. Black tea. James learned the hard way that extra caffeine on an empty stomach can cause jitters, palpitations, and cramps. Try a half-strength brew or switch to decaf, and always pair it with a small protein-rich snack, like a hard-boiled egg or a handful of nuts, before sipping. Lemon tea. That bright citrus zing packs a punch of citric acid that can trigger heartburn. Linda's fix was to move her lemon tea to mid-morning and add a teaspoon of honey. Enjoy it after yogurt, fruit, or a light breakfast to neutralize the acid and protect your esophagus. Peppermint tea. Although great for post-meal digestion, peppermint relaxes the valve between your stomach and esophagus, inviting reflux when drunk, alone. Marie's trick was to drink it after eating and stir in a pinch of baking soda in warm water to raise the pH and prevent acid backflow. Hibiscus tea. George's vibrant brew doubled as a diuretic, risking dizziness and low blood pressure. His strategy: hydrate first with plain water, plus a pinch of salt for electrolytes. Wait 15 minutes, then sip a diluted hibiscus blend alongside breakfast to keep hydration and blood pressure steady. Ginger tea. Helen discovered that ginger's warming oils, without a food buffer, can cause cramps. She now makes a mild ginger infusion, using less ginger and a longer, cooler steep, and pairs it with a small protein-rich bite like yogurt or nuts to smooth out the spice. By adjusting timing, dilution, and pairings, you can enjoy every one of these teas safely. If these tips helped you, please like this video, share your favorite swap in the comments, and subscribe for more health-boosting advice. Have questions or want a deeper dive on any tea? Let me know below. Thanks for watching. Here's to happier, healthier sipping every single day.